In June 1962, something extraordinary happened in the industrial city of Novocherkassk. It was a working-class town in southern Russia, built around a locomotive factory that employed most of its people. For years, life there was hard but predictable, long shifts, steady pay, and little room for complaint. But that summer, the system bent too far. The Soviet government announced higher prices on basic foods like meat and butter, and at the same time lowered the wages of industrial workers by changing the production quota. For men and women who already lived from pay envelope to pay envelope, it meant that even basic groceries were suddenly out of reach. In the locomotive plant, the anger boiled over. During lunch, a manager told the workers that if they couldn't afford meat, they could eat liver pâté instead. It was meant as a joke, but in a hungry factory, nobody laughed. The next morning, the assembly lines went quiet. Thousands of machinists, engineers, and laborers walked out through the factory gates. They didn't call for revolution, only food and fairness. They painted banners on old bed sheets that read, "Meat, butter, wages," and began marching through the city streets. The demonstration swelled as families and passers-by joined in. Local police tried to block the crowd but were quickly overwhelmed. By midday, tanks and soldiers arrived from nearby Rostov. Novocherkassk had never seen anything like it. The protesters reached the city's main square, expecting someone from the party to speak to them. Instead, soldiers formed a line. Eyewitnesses later recalled that the crowd was calm, waiting, still believing the system would listen. Then came the gunfire. Short bursts from automatic rifles echoed across the square. People screamed and scattered. Those in front fell instantly. Others tried to hide behind the tanks or drag the wounded away. The shooting lasted only minutes, but when it stopped, dozens were dead. Official records claimed 26 victims, but residents whispered that the real number was much higher. That night, the bodies were loaded onto trucks and buried in secret, scattered across nearby towns so families couldn't find them. The next day, the city was cleaned. Blood was washed from the streets and the newspapers said nothing. The factory reopened as if nothing had happened. Those identified in the protests were arrested. 7 were later executed, others sent to labor camps. Novocherkassk disappeared from Soviet memory overnight. For nearly 30 years it stayed that way. There were no public mentions, no official documents, no graves. Even those who had been there learned not to talk. Only in the late 1980s, under Gorbachev's glasnost, did the truth finally surface. Investigators uncovered classified orders confirming the army's involvement and the systematic cover-up that followed. Survivors came forward quietly, their stories matching almost perfectly after decades of silence. The Novocherkassk massacre wasn't a revolution or a rebellion. It was a moment when ordinary workers, the very people the state claimed to represent, simply asked to be heard. And for that, they were met with bullets. Today, Novocherkassk is peaceful again. The locomotive factory still stands, the same grey walls watching over new generations of workers. Near the city square, a small stone memorial bears one simple inscription, 1962. Most who walk past it don't stop, but for those who know, it marks the day when hunger turned into history, and history was made to disappear.